Okay,
Talk
so
about geometry crossing.
I have like a little spiritual phrase that like some of these things keep me anchored in just a little bit. And the phrase is everything I need is within reach, because there were too many times in my life I'd be sitting here and I'd be like, I need hand cream. I'd be like, shit, it's right there. I need this weird, oh my God, is that it there? Like I can't tell you how many times I need something. I ran out of toilet paper yesterday, and there just happened to be a sheet of paper towel on the side of my bathtub. And I was like, everything I need is within reach. It's not preferable, but hey, like
That reminds me of the plant world.
universe has a sense of humor, for say, and like your partner was your neighbor. Everything you need is within reach. You just haven't figured it out yet. And that to me is totally just like, can we just let the good things come to us?
Hi friends, welcome to another episode of Resonance. I'm your host, Cassandra D. I just finished a chat with my good friend, Sam Zagar. She is a 3/6 projector, splenic projector with ego definition. Her one channel is the design of a transmitter, 4426. We had a fun little chat, always do. And we just talk about life and relationships, human design, career, a little bit of mystical with the mundane, telepathy tapes at the very end, plant medicine, lots of the gamut. I hope you enjoy. If you want to support this podcast, you can like, subscribe, comment, share it. All of it helps if it's correct. Okay, thanks guys. So welcome, Sam. It's been a minute.
It's been a lot of minutes.
In a lot of minutes. Yeah. We talked about this. So Sam and I had a conversation. I don't know. How long ago was that?
I don't know, last year?
A year?
Was it last year? I
was
don't know. I'll be honest. I tried to think about it this morning. I was like, I don't even know if it was for a podcast you were starting, or was it for my podcast, or was it for...
It was for a podcast I was going to start. You were my first guest. And then it didn't feel correct to start then. And so it was just like, I don't know whether this is going to feel correct. But it's funny because I kind of almost felt like, I don't know, we're both third line. So I was like, maybe she's okay with me trialing.
Well, I mean, we're here, so we're going to try again.
So yeah, I have like 4 recorded and getting ready to launch. So
what has been like...
I wanted to make sure before asking you again that it was like the true beginning.
I did even message yesterday and be like, how's it going?
Yeah, I know. Are you still a yes?
Are we still doing this?
Yes.
What have a lot of the other topics been like? Well, not topics, other conversations. Like what's the vibe?
All so different because we just flow and every being is different, and human design is always the like central kind of core.
So what made you start this one now then?
Just the timing was correct. Like I responded to doing a podcast like years ago. So the funny thing about responding is you just don't know the timing of like when it's actually going to be correct. So, yeah, I've been sitting on this for years. And you've been on my list of guests to connect with just because I feel a resonance with you on many different like levels, and I just enjoy you. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So welcome. So what's new in your world? I feel like we haven't connected in a long time. Like what's new? What are you up to?
Well, we could give some summary highlights, and if you have a response to any of them, we could open the tab bigger.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so relatively big topic is ended the relationship again with the emotional manifestor.
I felt that, but didn't know for sure. I don't ever really see much of your stuff, but I don't know why. I just kind of felt that.
Yeah, it was one of those, and I gotta say, like,
I was smiling because I didn't know if you were like hearing. Anyway, yeah.
Typically I figure like my parents are gonna be like, oh, again, and don't get me wrong, they were. But when I ended it this time, my mom said something that made me feel actually really good, which is that I should have been really proud of myself for how hard I tried. And as a third line and an ego, I thought that was just nice recognition from her, because as much as there were times mentally I was like, I think this is probably a bad idea, I didn't actually feel an authority no. And then one day I felt the authority no. And in the moment of feeling that, like that literally was it. It was not only like, hey, I think I want to break up. It was like, get out of my house now. And
Mm-hmm.
he didn't. So I had to call his mom and like almost had to make some other phone calls, because when spleen makes a decision, it's survival based, right? Like they tend to be bigger, scarier, health based decisions. So there was a big moment of ending that. And then there was the feeling leading up to it of I'm getting my closure before it ends this time, which was very different from all the other times. So there was an actual closing of that door, which felt really significant. And then I know that when you close one door, you get tested, for lack of a better term. Like old other things might start to show up to see, like, where are you still lingering? Where do you have unfinished things? What are you still settling for is a really big one for me as a projector. So I had to spend a couple of weeks just not answering calls, not responding to certain things, not engaging with certain things that were trying to reconnect with me. Um, and some really cool business things started to happen in the meantime. I almost got totally rocked out of my human design career with.
Wait, pause before we go into that, which I want to go into. I want to like comment on just like the relational piece because my feeling was, I don't know, sometimes when I have a connection with someone, I feel a connection with you that's like form based. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like you had posted something about a friend where it's like she had said something like those friends where you don't see them forever or whatever. But I feel that with you. Like I was like almost like I don't even know you, but I like know you in a, or I feel a connection to you. And so like I was almost like I was feeling that that had closed, and my first and like permeating feeling was that it was like healthy and I was proud of you.
Thank
And I didn't
you.
know
I felt
anything
that way
about
too.
it. Like I didn't know anything about the situation. I just like it was like a feeling of like good for her. Like that feels correct and
It
healthy.
did. It did feel really good. And like the relationship actually did feel quite good most of the time I was in it. But there were like,
Yeah, it didn't
there are
seem
red
like it was
flags.
right. Well, it didn't seem like it was like a bad experience. It seemed like it was
Yeah.
a good experience or like a correct experience for like what it was. But it did also, when the closing happened, it felt like, I don't know, that's so weird to say because I didn't
It
even know
felt
you closed
so
it. But I did at the
final.
same time. Yeah.
And when we went into the April like pink moon, the super moon thing, that weekend actually completely changed my life. Like I remember posting on stories like, I can't stop sobbing. Like, what the hell is happening to me right now?
I
I had to
missed that.
reschedule clients. I was like, this never happens to me. I'm just letting the water move through me. And then I was joking about like, oh, of course it's a full moon, gravitational pulls really, making me extra, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is maybe, it's not that I'm not proud of it. It's just maybe it's unexpected to say, but I basically got blackout drunk in my hot tub by myself that weekend. I was in my hot tub for 4.5 hours.
It's a little dangerous.
That's way too long. And all I drank in there was a bottle of wine.
They say
Um,
don't do that,
they
but
say don't do either one of those. I was on the phone with a friend the entire time. And there was like a point where I fell back under the water. And they said it took a few minutes for me to reemerge. And I just came up like, I'm fine, And I was like, oh, drunk baptism, I think is what happened that night. Like it was very it was day one of a new course starting the next day. It was day one of my cycle the next day. Like I felt like I literally like Pisce'd myself to death. I lost 4 pounds that
There was
night
a
from doing that.
Neptunian thing happening then too.
I
And there was
was,
also a Venus thing of, I think it was like Venus retrograde too. So a lot of they were, well, a lot of astrologers I was watching, or one astrologer in particular was talking about relationships ending actually. So that's really, the cycle was like, ding, okay.
and some potentially new ones starting. So the person that I was on the phone with that night was a client of mine almost perfectly 2 years ago. And we worked together for like 7 months and then like sporadically after that. But they would reach out to me from time to time. And truthfully, I was like, they're just too young. And the universe is funny, right? Like after I launch my new merch, which is must be Saturn return or older. What do I end up
Oh.
reconnecting with a pre-Saturn return client who's still got a crush on me, and haven't stopped talking to them. They'll be here in 9 days with a one-way ticket. Mental projector. So, you know, like my life is rapid fire changing.
Yeah, I feel like sounds typical for a splenic being. Being
Yeah.
a splenic being.
It felt so much like clear,
Odd
clear,
left.
clear, clear in order to let something better come through. And I just remember feeling like, get that one out. Do not acknowledge any of the things that are trying to return to you. And it's not like withdrawing too much into my own little world. Like, well, it kind of as innocence, but I actually went way more spiritual than is common for me or than my audience is familiar with me.
Mhm. Your transmitter is the 44.6.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's very like to see the patterns and like, I don't know,
Okay, so I'm really glad that you're being
aloofness.
specific about this because of it. The thing that I did before human design is back, but it's back through human design. And that's what's changed in the last 2 months
So is
specifically.
this a segue into the career stuff or is it separate?
No, it's all together because, like, I still do what I do, but I used to do a thing called body jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't realize what
Is,
I was doing according to my design because I
is it
didn't
like
really.
quantum leaps or is it something else?
So I
What's
actually
body
don't
jumping?
have a lot of language around this. I have experience and I have a phrase. So when
Mm-hmm.
someone else was like, "Oh, sounds like quantum something" the other day, and I was like, "Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
you're also saying that. So this might be a similar thing." And what
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm trying to suss out is maybe the nuance between like a general skill set that this is and a very specific application of it that a projector does through their channel. And with this study of the, okay, so what is body jumping? I did it, I've done it my whole life without realizing what I was doing, but I did it intentionally. I did it in a way where I saw the steps one day and was like, whoa, oh, I just figured out how to get to the thing. And I was at work in a large group of people, and I out of nowhere started getting these like 5 minute waves of really intense physical feelings and then be gone. And so it was very clear that these were not my feelings. And so that was first acknowledgement, not my feelings. So I look around, I say to my
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend next to me, "Do you feel blah 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 blah?" And she goes, "Yeah. How do you know that?" I said, "Because I'm feeling it right now."
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Okay, this is the first time
Mm-hmm.
I've had this clear of a thing. So okay, can I do it with that person?" I'm like, "Can I try and feel what you feel right now?" And
Mm-hmm.
it was like the how to do it just happened. So I sit like this and I go, "I don't want to feel me, I want to feel them." So like if I did it to you, I'd be like, "I don't want to feel me, I want to feel Cass. I don't want to feel me, I want to feel Cass." And my whole body starts to feel the way that static electricity looks on a TV. And then I
Mm.
don't feel my body. It's like I'm in your body. And so then there's a weird thing. It's starting to get more and more refined, but it's like being on a viewing platform in the core of somebody. And the more that I do it, the more I'm like, holy shit, am I actually jumping into the G center? Like, is this where the magnetic monopole is?
So like,
Um,
well, because you have so much openness. So like with that is vulnerability, but also power for like feeling the other, wisdom, like true, I guess you could call it empathy, but like to feel the what the other is experiencing, right? And you have all of your awareness centers are available to like tap into like somebody else's, right?
okay, so I am
That's
genuinely trying to map all this stuff out to
so this
figure
is
out
different. This
like,
is different than quantum jumping for sure. This is something else. Yes.
because
So a different
what
word.
I do feels very specific to my channel, but I do want to acknowledge what you're saying about like picking up someone else's definition. So in general, I think depending on the type, you pull this in differently. So you being open and enveloping, you pull people into a certain layer. The reflector has them push back. The manifestor has them push back even more. I'm meant to feel them at the most conditioned level so that I can redirect and guide outward. So within the
Mhm.
center exposure, I do feel that there is like the intenseness, like picking up their emotions or picking up their thoughts. But a lot of the times, like let's say I pick up someone with a defined ajna, that's just like talk. saying an idea that almost sounds like mine, but I totally stole it out of the ether without realizing
My
it.
husband does it all the time. I'm like, I was literally just thinking that. Ha ha
Like,
ha.
I want the credit for that one. That was
Well, no,
mine.
like it doesn't, it's just funny to me because it's like, oh yeah, you like totally pulled that out of like what was, you know?
Okay. The tricky thing though is how specific it is when I'm inside the person, because it genuinely feels like my all my visual and everything becomes like the inner working of the person. It really is like being in their like magic school bus, being in their biology, but there's
Yeah.
like an apartment building in the middle. And in this apartment building is always a micro version of you. So there's like a little Cass on the inside in that room, and we're both inside the bigger Cass.
So you're saying you're in the G center? So when you say specific to your design, do you mean like projectors because they can grab the monopole? Do you mean
Well,
transmitter?
I'm okay. So there are layers to this. I'm still
Okay.
sussing out if the G center is the viewing platform, in particular gate 2. I'm just wondering where is the core of the person I'm jumping into that has this like little spot that I hang out in.
Right.
But then because you brought up 44.6 and my other one is 26.4, the
Mhm.
main thing that happens when I go in there is um this is where I think the main transmitter thing is, and this is where I don't think I've been doing my job right the whole time. I don't think I've been doing my job the way that I actually have the ability to do my job. I've been meeting people at a more surface level. And I started saying about 2 months ago, I had a bit of a crash. Someone was like, "You do human design. Everyone knows what you do. What do I do?" And I was like, "What do you mean everyone knows I do human design?" Like, I kind of freaked out when they were like, "You do human design." And I was like, "No, I read people. Human design is just the thing that makes them believe I can do it." And I kind of got stuck with that for a long time. I was like, human design is just a map that like
The
helps me
scaffolding.
yeah, it helps me understand what I'm saying, or helps you understand what I'm saying. Well, the client understand what I'm saying about them. But when I go into people, I start to hear phrases. And it's weird because they're almost like affirmations, but it's like I hear where this person can't fight their own conditioning. And I start like almost yelling at them the phrase that gets rid of the conditioning.
Mhm.
And so many of the people actually, the number one phrase is I'm still here. Like so many of them need to hear I'm still here, I'm still here. And then
Mhm.
I watch their physical body like completely relax differently, but then they get all uptight because we go to the next layer of the problem. And you just kind of keep going. But 26.4 is censorship. And I was like, wow, the most supportive thing that I've been doing to people has been removing a level of conditioning in them. I'm transmitting this thing. And 26 is the T cell. And I love the fact that this is actually like the most aggressive thing on the planet.
Yeah, right. So come in and get rid of the not self. You're like
I'm like,
you're like
I'm a
T-selling
little
the not self.
dinosaur. I feel like I'm a little dinosaur
You're
that
like
goes inside
T-selling
people.
the not self.
Totally. I'm eating bad
Because
conditioning when
that's
I'm in there.
literally what is the T cell doing in your body, getting rid of stuff that doesn't belong.
Also, whenever I talk about this,
Murdering
people's
things that do not belong.
and what did I just kill a fly? I was like, I'm murderous. Like I
Yeah.
literally am like
Yeah.
trying to get rid of the toxic thing that will kill somebody. And it's not typically disease, it's the word, but the word makes the disease in their body.
Well,
I'm
and also like the deeper, like, okay, what is the ego circuit for in the tribe? It's literally to like rise above and survive on the material plane.
and
Like,
I sometimes wonder if like I haven't been that supportive. Like if someone has a
I
session
mean,
with
you
me,
are what you like. You can only, you're always going to be taking this. Like, you're only what, 35, 36. So like we're gonna continue to like keep taking this deeper and become more skillful and like just it's just gonna go deeper, you know.
it, someone who's not in human design um threw me for a total loop one day when they were like, "Oh, some of the things that Raw got are true, but he lied about this, this, and this." And I was like, "What do you mean he lied about this? Like, you don't even know human design. Who are you to talk about this?" Um, and they were like, "Watch this movie, this movie, this movie, read this book that are all like in the 5 years before he got the transmission that he was involved in because of this thing, because of this thing, because of this." And I was like, "Oh my God." Um,
Say more.
so I spiraled.
Motivation's interested. What?
Yeah, yeah. And The thing that I spiraled the most on was variable, because
Mm-hmm.
variable is not a part of the original transmission. Variable is probably where I make the most of my money at this point because people like to have those conversations. Um, and variable is the thing that made me actually believe in human design. Like treating my quad left rather than letting doctors treat me for other things is way more helpful in my life. And I kind of started to freak out that like he actually just made up a bunch of other shit. And if all he did was make up a bunch of things from weird patterns he connected, then the people he stole the patterns from actually have the bigger, better information. And now I got to go find those. And then I felt very overwhelmed. And I started reaching out to first gen students and some other people and just kind of being more open about my questions. And the number one thing people said right away was, "You are not the person I expected to have this conversation with," which was very interesting because people really have me locked into that like fundamentalist role, which is very intriguing. I don't believe anything. Like I'm
Yeah,
looking,
I would say that you are still a third line though.
yeah.
Like we definitely like dive in, but we're always there's always a potential to break the bond if we bump into what doesn't work.
I really surprised someone when they were like, "Oh, you're so in love with human design." And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm the person that will completely fucking rip it apart and destroy it if I find out what's wrong with it. There's a difference. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not obsessed with a guru. I have a system that I think works, but if it doesn't work, the third lines will figure it out. And if I figure that out, I can't take money from people according to a system I don't believe in." So I had like a
Yeah.
big ethical conundrum there for a little while of I really need to dive into this. And it's not about like finding the person who can say whether Raw was right or not. It had way more to do with talking to students and friends and being like, do you use human design? Like what where are its limitations for you? What do you do that human design hasn't been able to acknowledge? Or what don't you understand yet? Or how has variable helped you? Or do you believe in it? And everybody likes variable.
Me too.
So
Well, and like I have the 49.3 and I have the 16.2. Like the 16th gate is all about like identifying with something to truly get the skill. So like I identify with things when I'm into them. And the 49 is like everyone get on 49.3, everyone get on this bandwagon. And then it's like if you find what doesn't work on the bandwagon, you're like, everyone get off.
everyone off.
Yeah, so like I get that. I feel that if it's like and it's an integrity thing. So like but I also feel what I feel from Ra is that like he obviously had a lot more than he would share because there was like a both a responsibility that he felt he had as well as paranoia about
Yeah.
what to share. And so what he said in some of the like more kind of where the courses geared towards people who were deep into human design and like teaching or guiding or whatever was like you as like a being with this other person, like you will know a lot more than you will share because that's how you skillfully can like help someone, right? You're not going to share everything you know. You're going to guide from the place of how you know. Guide is a projector term, but like, however you help others. But I'm curious still. Like I always like I'm someone who's like, what's in that? Oh, you open that door, what's in there? I want to know because it's just how I'm built.
Yeah. And like, so I'm recording season 3 of my podcast right now. And the best phrase I have for it is seeking source. But it's really just an exploration of like what does source actually mean to a lot of people? Because while I'm known a lot as being source based, I'm not known as being raw based. And I would like people to start to make that distinction. What is source is actually what I care about.
That's always been my thing too, when that was synonymous, raw and source. Because to me, I'm like, raw is the thing of which human design came through. He was the first student, and
Mm-hmm.
it was obviously impacted by his design, the extra crystal. Like he he was a human in form too. So it's like nothing is pure, right? Coming through someone. Not that because I don't know. That was always and that's my 43-23, where it's like, I don't know, just whatever the way that is, the way that that thing's.
There seems to be quite a bit of opinions about what drugs Raw was on and whether what he got was valid. But I don't know, I think it's weird kind of when people want to dismiss the validity of something from drugs.
Well, Ra
Um,
was like one of the first people to say that plants are allies and that like to expand consciousness, they are allies in that.
yeah, like I have been a regular weed smoker basically every day since I was 17. I feel very good on it. Like I feel amazing on it. It's my day-to-day connector. I don't know. But I had a friend say to me the other day, they're like, I think you are weed. I was like, what? And they're like, I think you might be.
It's funny
Like,
because it's a spirit,
they're like,
it's
are you
alive.
weed incarnate as a person?
It has an essence. I felt that, like, I feel that way about mushrooms. Like, you feel like a mushroom.
They're in here.
You feel like a mushroom when I've ever done like mushrooms, like psilocybin, I'm like, I'm a mushroom. Like, I'm leaky, I'm moist. Like, you just feel like a mushroom. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like consciousness, right? Like, um, everything is like that. And there's different ways to access that consciousness. You don't necessarily have to even ingest it. You can just commune with them in different ways. But like, and everything is a medicine and serves its different points and connection, and only you can know what and why and when and how long and da 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 da. And I don't know. I mean, one of the biggest kind of turning points in my life, and this sounds so cliche in our like new age spirituality realm now, but when I went to Peru in 2018 and experienced ayahuasca, like it wasn't such a popularized thing yet. It was probably like on the cusp. But I had a response. My friend asked if I wanted to go, and my whole body was like, "Ooh, yes." And there's certain things where like I don't know what life would be like having not had those experiences, but I can tell you that those experiences opened me up to a deeper, like more aware connection to all that is. Like, so could I have that without it? I think that is possible also, but and I don't think the answer is like me doing ayahuasca every weekend. Like, I mean, unless
Right.
that was correct for me, I guess. I don't know, but like it wasn't. So like I just like I'm still integrating what I experienced, like and it was a profound sense of like everything has its place. Like my whole personality at the time was always trying to like fix people into these boxes, homogenization, right? Like it was
Mhm.
well, can't you just like be a little more this way? And like, because like, for instance, there was like someone in our group who was kind of like, for lack of a better word, like a curmudgeon or whatever. And I'm like, can't you just be like chill? Can't you just like chill out? And I'm like, oh, and like, and when I was like communing with the plant, it was like she has this important place, and it was like this like deep love I felt finally of like, oh shit, like you have this like you are we need you. Thank you for being you. Like, and so it was just like and that's having the awareness of that or having the like aha doesn't mean that it's like integrated into your life in all moments. So it's just like a long process of integrating it. But I definitely believe that plants like serve a differentiated, like they're just different than us and they're perfect in their being. Like I love that thing where I was like, every plant is beautiful because it's perfect. I'm like, ah, yeah, it is. Cause like that's how they're designed.
They feel like
5710.
it feels kind of like training wheels for me sometimes. Like they open a door that some people don't realize can be opened. And it's not like you said, it's not like you need to do it every weekend now after that. It's more like, no, you had to do it once to remember that that door is there and you can go through it.
Yes.
The best shamanic journey I ever had was totally sober and
Yes.
amazing and
Breath
very
work.
powerful. Yeah.
Yes. The
Just
breath
like
is a vehicle.
I got into my spot, and it worked. But and like okay, so I would think if something I was doing blocked me from doing the work that I do with my clients, it's probably not good for me. Like if weed was making it so I didn't want to talk or have a session or I wasn't paying attention to my clients or something, like that would be bad. But I actually feel like it just opens things a little bit differently. And for me, like I'm gonna keep those wheels on. But for other people, sometimes they need to just like have a hoot to remember you can go somewhere else.
Yeah, I feel like one of my teachers used to say like, is it giving you energy or is it taking energy? Because that's so
Mm.
different for each of us. Like even me having the 16.2, which is like the compulsive cynic and it's unconscious, it's like cynicism is a source of enthusiasm. Like it gives me energy to be
Gives you life.
cynical about what doesn't work. Whereas like for some people, it's truly a bummer. Like, so everyone is differentiated, like what gives, and it's different throughout your process too. Like just like your nutrition, like what you need pre having a baby or what you need having while you're pregnant or what you need post, like when you're breastfeeding, like what you need at this life stage when you're post Chiron, like every stage, everything is different. So,
Now,
and yeah,
is it true that I'm like mushrooms are one of the only things that don't get the design, right? They're not included in the design of plants.
I feel that they are just the design of plants and that it's biological science that separates them. But I could be wrong. That was my understanding was that like they were included in the design of plants, even if science says that they're technically a fungi. But
See,
that,
and I thought Raw was the one who
oh,
said
I've
the
never heard
mushroom
Ross
wasn't
say that.
included. And maybe I'm paraphrasing
Oh,
from somebody else, but
no, I
the
never heard Ross say that. I listened to all the plant talks I could find, but there could be other ones that I didn't
like
have
if this
access to. But I've like
if this
re-listened.
is
There's like
true,
it's like
it
one of my
makes
favorite studies of the
but it
yeah.
makes me so curious, right? Like if like what are mushrooms? And like in terms of spiritual agents,
Aliens.
if they don't, yeah, like because I genuinely
They literally like have you seen that mushroom that like takes over the ant and like is on its
yes.
head and like gets it to go to the top and then like spread its seed? Like, oh,
So they're programmers. Like I
yes,
genuinely think that they're programmers. So when
yes.
I take okay, well, it's very like personal and according to my design when I take my stuff because I genuinely actually fucking hear them talk to me. Like
Yeah,
I'll be in the kitchen and there's the jar of them and they're like, "Eat me." And I'm like, "All right, we will."
yeah.
Like there's I swear to God, they tell me what to do.
They
um,
do. I mean they are I believe they are a consciousness. So
yeah. And like I
and
remember one time I took a mushroom pill and I went to go take my like a regular vitamin I took all the time.
mhm.
And if you have a small creature, you imagine it has a high pitched voice. And so just imagine a bunch of tiny creatures inside of me. As I went to like take the thing, it was like, strong. And I was like, what? I would have never thought that. But part of what they pointed out in me was like their sensitivity, according to my clogged up density. I needed to clean some things out because I was taking in things that were too strong, but my body was too gunked up for me to notice. So that was
Yeah.
very weird. They're very
That's the
directive,
process, right? Like you don't realize something's gunking you up until there's a
higher consciousness to
aware
tell you.
or just your own awareness of because like even just being able to attune to that message takes some level of clarity.
And you
Because
have
it
to be
sounds
willing to
almost
think you're crazy
splenic
about it.
too. Like it was like they were like connecting you to a message your spleen had been squealing, maybe, because that is the mechanism for you.
They're very biology based. So I know when I do mushrooms, I better be prepared to actually take care of all the plants on my property that day. Like when I walk into the house, I will know when I walk by a plant, like if it's too dusty, thirsty, like it's literally going to
Yes,
say something to me.
yes. I'm not splenic, but I feel that. I like go into like restaurants and I'm like, that plant is sad. It's like stuck in the corner. It wants to be out of there. It's not, it wants to like get you to move all that stuff. Cause it was like in the corner with like chairs around it, like backed in. I'm like, that poor plant wants to be out. He's like sad.
how how receptive are you though? How many right arrows are you?
I'm right mind, right brain.
Okay,
Yeah.
so some of what I wonder here is I think I need help to be open to hearing certain things. I think with my quad leftness, I'm very dense about certain things. And so I can't do mushrooms all the time because it's too flowy for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but I need them sometimes, I think, because they put me into a way more receptive state. I start listening rather than doing so much.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they're very they feel very like day after I got my ex out of the house, I did them every day for 3 weeks. And then one day they just said, like, no, like,
Yeah.
don't eat us today. You've had enough. Like, you have to integrate what you integrated, basically. Um, and I wasn't sad about my relationship once. Like, that was probably the most revealing thing was I had no, like, it felt so clean and so done. Like, there was literally nothing left to process. And the mushrooms were like, we're just going to scrub some things away now. We're just going to like clean slate you. And then once they said stop, it was like all the new things started happening.
Mm-hmm. I think that's like correctness of the timing of things, you know? When you enter something as yourself, you can exit as yourself. It like creates a different experience altogether. It doesn't have as much residue when it's over. I've experienced that not with like partnership, but with like friendships. It was like, oh, I entered this cleanly as myself, so therefore I could exit as myself. And there wasn't that same, because I'm an open spleen being. So it's like I would always, and I have an open heart reaching down to the 37th gate. So it was always like a trying to prove myself as a good friend, holding on to things to like prove I'm a good person or a good friend. That's my hook. But holding on to things that were like incorrect. And it was like I wasn't doing it from any mental space. It was just like body was like, uh-uh. And I was like,
I have
shit,
a
okay, I hear you. And I don't need to make up a story. And it just was clean.
I have a question about the hanging 40 and the undefined ego.
Yeah.
Ra will often talk about this one and he tells the same story over and over again. And I'm like, I want to hear this story from someone who has this definition.
Mm-hmm.
But the joke is that you get into a relationship that defines the ego, you push the person away and you can't figure out why. And then you go to your therapist and you're like, why do I always push them away? I really want a relationship. And then you get a relationship, it turns on the ego, and then you push them away because of the gate 40. And it's like,
Why? Okay, more. This has
uh,
happened to me
it's like
when I was younger.
a gate of aloneness. And it's
Oh.
and I always joke about the masturbation stuff in Gate 40. I mean, I love when you can give people little shock stuff to anchor
Mm-hmm.
in the information. The Gate 40 is the gate of masturbation because it really says to Gate 37, you didn't give me the affection that I needed for all the bacon I brought home. So I'm going to just go take care of myself. And that's ultimately the Gate 40 is I'm going to just go take care of myself then.
Yes and no for me. Let me see. I feel that feels more ego defined though,
It's because it's
or
defining
not
your
self.
ego when you connect to the
Oh,
37. So when you make an electromagnetic that turns that on for you, do you notice that you get an ego quality
I
that,
don't know. I have a lot of 37s, but I don't know if I have as many just 37s.
oh, see? And then again, I love exploring compromises
Because then
versus
I'm like,
electromagnetics.
yeah, I don't know like how it.
Do you
mm,
make an ego with your partner?
Yes, but he just defines it through his channel of initiation.
Oh.
So I don't have any part of that.
Oh, and you got individual ego with you, not even tribal.
Yeah. And because I don't have a hook into it with no compromise, I just find it attractive. I'm like, that's awesome. It gives me some like, ooh, I can do it too. But I had to learn my limits of that. Like, okay, no, you can do that.
He's
But
like mean with channel names sometimes because I'm curious what your experience of having a projector partner with a channel of initiation. I mean, why did we call a projected channel initiation? And why is it a design of being first, but it's not manifested, right? Like there's so much manifestor
it
language
makes
built
him a
into this.
very different projector. Like I thought he was a like if you were to ask, I would have thought he was a manifester because his energy is so much, I feel more powerful than mine with the ego and root. So I just view him as like he's got channel struggle and initiation. He's not like a mental projector at all. Like so when you hear a classic projector, like I'm like that's not him at all.
Yeah, you
But
have someone who's
he is
very like
definitely a
solid.
projector in terms of like the staying power and like the need to rest and the like learning when enough is enough, like needing to learn like when enough is enough and all that. Like definitely.
But do you notice he gets extra bitter if he's not acknowledged first consistently?
He's just not alive.
Yeah.
Like his life comes through like jumping into the abyss. Like he literally will not feel alive if he's not pushing an edge.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
really like, because of the dominance, I find that attractive. I'm like, I think it's cool that he does that. It's definitely not me. I don't really, but like I really like that he's like that. Um, it's funny though, when I was younger with him, I remember because it's also a competitive channel. And I open ego, I'm not competitive, or I can be overly sometimes. But really, mostly now, I'm just not at all because I don't really, like as the differentiation or it happens. But it's funny because when we were younger, I remember we would like be playing like volleyball, like sand volleyball, and he would be like diving in the sand, like doing just like crazy maneuvers. And I remember just being like, can't you just like not compete? Like, who cares?
Got to prove himself so intensely. It's shocking to everyone.
But it was like I'm like as I've grown to knowing knowing definition about it's like it really comes down to, do you accept this about the being or not? Can you accept this? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, oh, like that's not a flaw. It turns it from this is something you should tweak to like this is who you are. This is like how you're built. And then it becomes attractive because it's like you stop trying to think it should be changed and you start to like recognize how it's really cool and how it can be. So
I love that you called dominance attractive. And I also love the fact that I bet half the people that are going to listen to this will still hear that sentence in like a typical, like, masculine dominance is hot to me. Like,
it kind of is though.
I mean, it definitely kind of is, but like,
I've like deconditioned a lot of that programming for myself, though. I kind of do. I think there's a beautiful polarity. Like having a child, I'm like, yeah, I have a cycle. I am an emotional being. I'm a generator of the projector, and that gets looked at like, oh, I should have all this. I have an emotional wave. Like that takes a lot of energy. It's up and it's down. Like, yes, I'm the one who has probably the more like I do have the more daily sustaining in terms of like when I'm doing something I love. Like he's in bed early. I'm not. Like I just like the buzzing. But like so there is a difference. But in terms of like consistent energy and his like a man has like a daily cycle of testosterone, like women, we have different, there's just differences, right? So like I don't know. I see why we have certain like roles in these physical vehicles because there's this like differences, and I don't really feel like I need to be a man anymore to be worthy. That was like my hook. Like, oh, I have
does
to like prove myself as a ego man, or like consistent energy, or like whatever we all have different hooks into it and different things. But like that was my hook into that culture was like, I have to prove. And then it was like, oh, actually, I really love my emotions. I really love my variability. I really love being a woman. I really love this. So once I started to love those things, it was no longer about like proving myself because I already felt worthy about it. Does that make sense?
definitely. Do any of his other channels dominate or do any of yours dominate him?
Yes, I 10/20, and then there's a compromise in his struggle, which is the hardest one.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like it also has it like the places of compromise are both struggle, but also like areas of growth. I have an open route. Like that's where I'm here to like really
What
learn.
do you guys make together? 8-1, 9-0?
8 and 1. Yeah.
What's open still?
The crown head.
Oh,
Yeah. So we go out through like inspiration and
and then your arguments are trivial, not big.
I guess say some
Is
more.
that and I would do connection chart readings. Leaving the head open is very common. And I would
Yeah.
call them the tit for tat arguments because the head center gets caught up worrying about things that don't matter. So it starts
Oh.
fights about things that don't matter. And tit
Yeah.
for tat is
That's very
usually
true.
like, are you going to do the dishes? No, I said I was going to vacuum the floor, but I vacuumed the floor, but I changed the filter last time. But did you change the baby? I don't care. It's
Yes.
like,
And it's like literally learning like what doesn't matter to like what don't give your energy to that. Yep.
yep, exactly.
Yep.
Okay, this is fun.
Yeah.
I love getting into other people's relationships.
We have how many electromagnet? We have a lot. So there's a lot of that 16, 48, 15, 5, 29, 46, 35, 36 are all electromagnetics. Do we have any other ones? Oh, and 49, 19. 35, 36, 49, 19. Ra would be like, and 15, 5. He's like, these are some of the toughest electromagnetics in a
Okay, which
relationship.
ones?
15, 5,
Yeah, that's me and my mom.
because, and me and you, because 15's extreme and 5 has its like patterns or
I
its
need
like
my routines.
routines. And so when those come together, they're just so different, right? So you have to really be able to like honor those differences rather than try to like me pull him into my flow. Oh God. I was like just thinking of that. It's like, no, that doesn't work.
Like, get
So,
out of my flow.
but then what is it? It's like be differentiated, not enmeshed. And then 49, 19, it's like, you're cut.
I was like the butcher.
You're
Fuck
cut.
you. I'm not giving you any
Like, oh,
more
you're not gonna
resources.
like do he's a pure individual. So I'm like, oh, you're not gonna do the tribal bargaining, you're cut.
Oh man, I'm don't
Hilarious.
miss that one.
It's hilarious. But at the same time, like he's got he's just we're just built to like do it together, right? Like struggle. He's like, okay, whatever, you're right. Okay, yeah. He's like, I'd rather be in this tribe. I like this tribe, I like this bargain. But like not like there's an honoring of both though. You know what I mean? It's just like we had to work it out. Like an honoring of like him, a lot of honoring of like what's this thing? Because he's so focused, projector, like individual, like just focused on like his stuff that he can get totally absorbed in it and like forget other things. So it's like I'm always like, yo, we're over here, like, hello, we
I've
exist.
got my big picture.
But yeah, so like but at the end of the day, like that's something he really like values at the same time too, because he's like, without you, I wouldn't do that, and that would be very sad. Like I'd probably be like alone and like hoarding my money at the end of my life, like empty and sad.
Have a good time being a third line and going through all the different like variations of mechanics in a relationship. You know, like Raw will maybe
Yeah.
say type for type is ideal, but it's not like Raw was in a type for type relationship where he'll say the future might be more type
He
for
said that
type.
at the beginning, but not at the end. He said that when he
Interesting.
was really not self because he hated the other.
And did he stop saying it when he married a generator?
He said that there was much more potential for richness in difference.
That's what I would think as well. And like
That's
I've
what I
been
felt
type for
too.
type, but being type for type with totally opposite variable, totally opposite authority, totally opposite circuitry, that was equally as hard as being in a different
Right.
type relationship.
There's differentiation always, no matter if you're the same type or not. And like it's not like all projectors are the same. It's not like all generators are the same. So it's really much more about like there's so much nuance. That's why it's not a mental thing. Like him even saying that is a not self-mental thing to say. Like because you're not making your decision through a type for type. Like that's
Yes, you're making it
self.
based on like, was I invited? How's my flame feel?
Yes, exactly. Like is it correct? Because when I look at the nuances in my husband and I like relationship, I'm like, how did that like line up like that? Like what? When you really get to know, like, because like for instance, we have harmony in both sides of our nodes, and we have harmony and resonant, or we have resonance in the profile. And we have, I don't know, there's just like so many like nuances. Like I have the 59.6 on my own, 59.6 to the 6.3. And that resonates and harmonizes to my profile. So it's an important like channel for me. But I also have the 59.2 and he has the 6.5. So we make an electromagnetic that is in harmony, that is separate from my 59.6. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And so what that felt like for me was because I always controlled that in a lot of relationships. And something about that I didn't like. I liked the electromagnetic with him there. Does that make sense?
definitely. And
And it also resonates and harmonizes to my profile. So it's also important to me. So it's just like there's different layers and nuances to relationships. That's why it's not like a mental decision. And even if you looked at your chart when you met someone, you couldn't make that decision based on that because you're gonna miss things or you're gonna
well,
make
and
a
who knows if
story
you're
up
getting
or
the self version of either one of you? Because when you look at the charts, you're getting the self version of both of you. Who's to say you're even acting that way yet?
it's true. Like literally the thing that kept us together over, let's see, like 15 years now is we would always be like, when we would be on the brink of like a breakup, it was like, are we being true self? It would always come back to that. It was like the answer was always no. It was like when we are true self, we're good. We're solid. So rather than like breaking up, let's go back to being true self. So like it's like always like, okay, like let's not make this decision in an emotional moment because we're emotional together and I'm emotional also. And that has like saved me because it's like the funny thing about him and I is like, well, I met him when I was 19, but like I had just gotten out of a relationship that was very sticky, very not self. And always I was attracting people based on this idea of what I thought I wanted, right? That's like often. And with him, I was just attracted to him. And I literally, my thought was, you're not my type. And like, it's nothing serious. Like, my brain says, you wouldn't be my husband. You're too like crazy, outgoing, like, like his ego, like it was like, it's not my type, but I'm attracted to you. And um, it just wasn't a mental decision. And then it became something where it was like, like, I just, I don't know, like, I don't care about anyone else because I just feel this like deeper, like soul, like connection I can't explain. Like, I remember we did mushrooms together for the first time in college. And I looked at him and I was like, I've known you forever. Like, it was just a soul feeling of like, I've known you through many incarnations. Like, and we found each other again and we were neighbors. So in an apartment building, like he was literally next door. Just
Okay,
like talk
so
about geometry crossing.
I have like a little spiritual phrase that like some of these things keep me anchored in just a little bit. And the phrase is everything I need is within reach because there were too many times in my life I'd be sitting here and I'd be like, I need hand cream. I'd be like, she's right there. I need this weird. Oh my God, is that it there? Like it, I can't tell you how many times I need something. I ran out of toilet paper yesterday and there just happened to be a sheet of paper towel on the side of my bathtub. And I was like, everything I need is within reach. It's not preferable, but hey, like there's
It's that reminds me of the plant world.
universe has a sense of humor for say, and like your partner was your neighbor.
Yep.
Everything you need is within reach. You just haven't figured it out yet. Um,
Yep.
and that to me is totally just like, can we just let the good things come to us? For me, there's a blend of equality and surrender. The phrase like "give it up to God" is also one that I like. I'm not religious in a way that anybody could define, and I couldn't define God for anybody. It's just a general word we're going to use: spirit, source, whatever. But like when I say give it up to God, the quality is like I'm not the one in control. Let's
Yep.
acknowledge that here. Like I'm a
Yep.
reactive element in something. I have some autonomy, I have an authority, but I'm not the creator. So
Yep.
I need to get out of the creator role and I kind of just need to maybe let some things happen. And I kind of like, gave it up to God a couple months ago and was like, look, I'm willing to get rid of everything in my life that doesn't meet a standard of what I want next, but I'm also not going to go look for the thing that meets the standard of what I want next. My job is to clear, your job is to bring me things. Are you listening? Because I'm ready to work.
Yep.
Um, and then the things just immediately started showing up. So I was like, oh shit.
Surrender
Okay.
for no other way to put it. Yeah, and it's like you don't control the timing of any of those things. So this idea that you're doing it wrong if it didn't have, it's like everybody's life path is different. Like I have a specific purpose that probably needed a partner early on. Do you know what I'm saying? I like delayed becoming a mother, and then after I had kids, I was like, what the hell was I waiting for? That
I
was the
was
sense. I was like, what was I
I
waiting
was like
for?
the opposite. I was like, oh, I gotta go like get that kid.
Well,
Um
splenic,
and
ego,
I like I only my only knowing
emotional
was that I would be a mom,
feeling.
but there was no knowing of the marriage, no knowing of the family. It was just the knowing that I would be a mom. And well, again, I'm like, just fucking surrendered. I have some concerns that the person I'm about to spend some time with, we make a 9 and 0. I dominate with my channel. He dominates with his two channels. There's no compromise, no companionship, 8 electromagnetics.
8.
And 3 of them are a locked in circuit of the channel of recognition, mutation, and mating. Yeah. I'm like, you're laughing, right? I'm like, ha ha ha. I'm still fertile. So
Wait, this was your who you had a child with, or this was
nope.
most recent?
This is the mental projector I'm going to be meeting very soon.
Oh, I see. Okay, 9 and 0. So have you ever been in a 9 and 0?
Just me and my son.
Yeah, me and my son are 9 and 0 also,
I
which was a
mean,
trip.
I can
I-
feel the 9 and 0 energy already because like I talk to this person all day, every day, and I basically ignored
Yeah,
every other relationship in my life. But it's
yeah,
been so positive for me to do this.
yeah. I have 9 and 0 friendships. And like it's hilarious to have learned that they're that because like we'd be in like groups and it would just be like us. Like no one else exists. Although I guess you move into a penta, which is like different, but or well, we probably were in a wa like when I'm thinking of these situations. But yeah, it's funny how 9 and 0s work.
I've never been in a 9 and 0 intimate relationship where there's like we have like 20 splits. I swear to God. Like there's
Oh,
so
you guys
many.
have splits?
Yeah, it's a triple split design.
Oh, so then you go out through the splits.
I'm like, as long as we can go out a lot, everything
Yeah.
should be good. But like we've never even had a hard conversation.
But I mean like even that you go out through the splits.
Like I got to
Like
go find my neutral bridges in a public place.
well, yeah, that, but also too, just in general, like if you're not in the same physical space, you'll be doing something with that split, he'll be doing something with the other split. But yeah. Triple split relationship, 9 and 0.
All
Sounds
dominance, no
intense.
compromise. I'm like, okay. It's not that this is like
No
the way to
compromise.
be,
That's
but I want to
actually,
try
that
that.
feels nice. No compromise. Two down. Like, so what I hear is like attraction, fire city. That's going to be 8, 8. That's a lot of fire to wield, but like takes differentiation because it's like, I personally like, I like the sparkiness of our electromagnetics, and you have to learn how to like wield them because they can burn you up.
Fair
But
enough.
so wait, is he emotional?
No, mental.
Oh, he's a mental projector. That's right. Whoa, that's crazy. Because you
Yeah,
guys
and
are
if
so open otherwise.
yeah, he's only
That's crazy.
head ajna. Well, he's awareness and acceptance. Uh,
Okay.
it's total fucking weirdo space cadet and highly opinionated about it. I love it. Oh God. Yeah. Stay tuned.
Wait, what did you say he has head to ajna?
Awareness.
Awareness. Okay. That's what I thought you said.
Yeah, and here I am like seeking source, and here comes 61 to show up in my life to just. And the weirdest thing is,
Like we're
I'm not used to talking to people where I don't. So similar to what we said about the drugs, does it give you energy or does it take it away? I've never actually had like a phone relationship with someone that didn't drain me. It's like it feels more like work. If I'm on Zoom calls half the day, last thing I want to do is hang out on FaceTime for the rest of the day. And like just the Wi-Fi alone of holding my phone around and being on a device all day is really painful.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, hold on, where was I going with that? My brain just cut out halfway
You
through
said
there.
you haven't ever had that relationship where it didn't drain you, like where you
Oh
were
yeah, it doesn't
talking.
drain me at all. Like I can be on the phone with him literally all day, every day, and still living my life. And I swear to God, I'm tapping into his mental definition because my organization has just become next level. Like I've packed for all of my trips and I'm reorganizing my closet right now and stuff. And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, just stay on the phone with me because I've never been able to. Like, can you just sit
I
next to me while I write my
That's the
business
thing
plans?
about it is like I don't feel that you actually have to be in aura with people because yeah, I don't know. But I
It's
wonder how it
not.
is different, but I also just like feel like you still are accessing it. It's not, I don't know.
Okay, so he's the person I've body jumped the most out of
Uh-huh.
anybody, which is super fun because you get to know someone on a very different level there. And since body jumping, I can find him in dreamland every night if I want to.
So like are you using this? Can people do this with you?
They're going to start to be able to because I was starting to think like as this was developing like how like I want to do this with people but how am I, oh right offering everything about that I'm just like I'm no, we don't really do that anymore. Like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I did a day of 3 sessions 2 days ago. It was my first day back at work in 3 weeks. And the third session was a projector man, and he was very verbally stifled. And it was like I could hear all the words, but he couldn't get them to the surface. And I just kept hearing, like, jump me, jump me, jump me. Like everything in him, I felt, was deeply asking me to go down and get the words. Just go down there, meet him down there and deal with it there, because it couldn't come up here yet. And so he asked, how do I continue to work with you? And I was like, oh, he'll be one of these people. So I'm going to message him this afternoon and be like, would you like to try this? Because I was feeling this throughout our whole session. But there's been an opportunity to talk about it almost every day and to do it almost every day. And it feels more effective than what I'm currently doing. So then there's the question of,
I'm here as you're talking about it. I really am seeing and hearing the definition of the 4426.
right? But I don't know what to charge for it. And I think the reason I don't know what to charge is because all of my prices have been set according to the will that my ego has to let out in order to do the work, and the ability to regain that willpower afterwards. And I don't
You're still
know.
like doing experiential what it takes, or what is the correct.
My automatic answer when people are like, oh, this is like, are you afraid this is gonna like take a lot more out of you? I've been like, no, it's easier. Every time I'm like, no, it's easier.
I feel like nonverbal is, because you move things a lot faster when you're not having to deal with mental constructs and blocks and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I experienced with like EMDR. It's like, you're never going to get rid of your trauma. Just here, let's do EMDR. And it was like, oh, that moved in one session, something that would have taken you years in therapy and still not have moved. Same with breath work. So yeah. Yeah. It's like
it's coming.
Well, because
but...
so 4420, yeah, like that whole, like, okay, what is it? It's like splenic connected to the heart. And I'm thinking of like the surface of like how Ra would talk about that as like the salesperson, but it's like so much deeper than that, especially because whenever I think about like Ra's teachings, I've always felt this is like it's teaching a different generation of people who were homogenized in a differentiated way than we were. Like different things are happening on the planet, different things, like it was just opened at that time. The planet was just seeded at that time. Like it didn't just seed and then not continue to vibrate out, right? And permeate the entire neutrino field. So I feel like there are deeper, and Ross said, like the entire Rave chain was written for the not self. So it's like you think about that and how all of these things. And he would always say, like, yeah, he would like give all the whole thing, but then he would be like, but go live it. Like, forget everything I said. Because like you don't like my definition of this is less important than like the truth for you.
I think
So
there's so many like layers to the information, whether there's like the healthiest version of something or the least healthy version of something.
yep.
And when I
Yep.
said before, like, I don't know if I've been doing my job to the extent that I can do my job, I'm starting to see Channel of Surrender as, if you're not that into your design, like if you're not that well versed in your design, you're probably a content creator. It's a propaganda channel.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. It's a creative channel. It's the creative channel for the tribe. It is a propaganda channel. And I believe that at its most surface level, where the guide and the guidees are open to, is like visual propaganda. And that's why most Channel of Surrenders are in marketing, in advertising. We do well on Instagram, etc. I think that if you actually maybe get into the core of what these gifts have the potential to be, the person that I'm working on is the product. And that's
Yep.
what's different. When Ra's like, new and improved, I'm like, yeah, the person's the product. I go in them and I get them new and improved, and I release them again because I remove the inferior element.
Yep. You get them across.
I don't want to sell things to people. I want people to be better and then to go out and do things.
Yes. Well, that also has to do with like well-being, survival, health, like,
There's always a physical component to what I do. So I'm starting to wonder, like, is this the gift every projector is supposed to have, the ability to skin crawl, crawl inside somebody else and actually read them? And how does each channel do it differently? Let's say you're only the channel of emoting. Are you meant to jump inside someone and figure out where they keep avoiding the spirit and blast spirit awareness at them? Like, do you blast love at them as an individual? Like, what is the empowerment that you're sending through to them when you're inside them? Like, how does each projected channel crawl inside, go to the viewing platform, and do their work?
And that's why you have to be, as a projector, like living as yourself, because you can't be recognized and invited to do that work unless you are actually there to do that work in a like frequency resonance, like that's why that's designed that way. Because like imagine a not self projector being able to penetrate and get inside truly, it's not going to happen.
No, we
Or
don't
it's
want
going to feel terrible, which is why it gets rejected.
that. We
So
don't want
yeah,
that.
like that's why that is the way that it is. That's why it was simplified to that strategy, you know?
I feel like well, people will still continue to book like human design readings and stuff with me. My work is definitely going to take a little bit more of it's going to take more of a spiritual. I'm still struggling with the word,
Yeah.
but it's
Well, I
it's
mean, you watched like, have you tuned into the telepathy tapes and stuff?
totally listen to all of them.
Like,
I
so
know the
I mean,
basis.
like, this is what we are. This is nine-centeredness. Like, so it's like Ra said it was mundane, but we think of it as like this, you know? And I definitely feel like, yeah, I definitely feel like that's the next layer to all of
It's
it is
actually
like,
this is an excellent closing spot
yeah,
because
yeah.
with the telepathy tapes, they were part of the thing that spurred the whole like um I got some concerns and I got some issues because Raw has a tendency to express the coming rave from a more dark place.
Hmm.
And a lot of times when people get access to the information, their immediate assumption is that the rave is something that you should fear, that we don't understand, and that it can have these gifts and that it can control us or things like that. But when I listened to the telepathy tapes, like I just kept hearing, they're already here. They're already here. They're already here. And it's not scary at all. I'm going to
Well,
get
so
all
that goes
emotional.
back to generational, right? Like Ra was here as a 5-1, 51 son, in the investigative in the first line, right? Like he was a heretic laying the foundation, shocking everyone. And to
I
him, the rave was scary because he valued so much, like what his definition, if you will.
his humanness, like
Yeah,
his
his Homo sapien transit, like he
yeah,
valued that experience and saw that it was the clock was up on it. And for I feel like younger generations, because we came in at a time when that we like apexed and we're like because we see it crumbling, or at least this is just true for me. I don't know how true this is for others, but like I'm like ready for the next chapter. Like I'm more ready for the next chapter. I'm like, think something else is coming because like humans are just we're destroying ourselves, each other. It's like I'm done with this story kind of. So like I'm ready for another one. And like I talked to Barbara Ditlow about the rave and like she said, because I was like, when I watch the telepathy tapes, that's what I feel too is like, not they're the bridges to the rave. And she said her view was she didn't know, but like she said that they're not going to have any, they're going to be totally different like than those beings, right? Like they're not going to have any like bridge or connection to them. I kind of feel like they are the bridge because nature always gives one. That's just my sense. Like we weren't here when Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. We don't know how that story actually played out. Like we really don't. We weren't here. So this idea that like we should be in fear of them, I don't feel that way. I mean, maybe the not self should be, like I could see the not self really not faring well against that kind of pure, I mean, I would say pure love or like pure truth. right?
and
It's
pure honesty and pure
yeah.
awareness. Like the solar plexus mutation, people they focus on the word confrontation way too
Mm-hmm.
much because
Mm-hmm.
they hear like the fight, the uncomfortable, the challenge, the but I'm like, no, it's truth. And the truth is what is confronting. It's that something is abrasive because it's honest and like
Being avoided or
the future is about honesty. Like I don't know if
yep.
people have
Yeah.
noticed like the truth is everybody's getting called out. Everyone's getting truth bombed.
Yep.
You can't hide things anymore.
Nope.
Everybody's watching, everybody's
I'm
listening. Like,
getting the chills because it's like it's right there to see
yep.
and feel and intuit and whatever. Hear.
Okay, so when Ron
So
like he was very specific about like, they won't eat like us. They won't look like us. They will. And so then I think
mhm.
people started to imagine like they didn't have mouths, where it's like in the Matrix where he can't open his mouth suddenly. And but again, listening to the telepathy tapes, there was one part where the mom was talking to the child and the child said, I can't feel my body. So
Yeah.
then the mom touched the arm and then they're like, oh, I know where I am in space now. And I was like, it's not that they don't have a mouth, it's that there's not the connection to, oh, this is where my mouth is. Oh, okay, this is
And
how
how
it
much
does things.
energy it takes to simply move it to make those sounds and how exhausting it is and how simplified it is compared to just the transmission. Like, and why they could speak in different languages because they were just picking up the energy. It wasn't that they could read another language, it was that it was all energy first and that they could just read the energy and boom, have the transmission. And they're like meeting together on the hill. Like Ross said, they had to be oracally together. I'm like, I don't know. I think probably no. I think
Oh,
no.
transauric consciousness. They met on a
Yeah.
hill.
And they're gonna, I think they will probably look different, at least their skin. Like he said, they'll have thick skin. But think about it, like they're built for the environment, like we're polluting the environment. I think that's part of it. I don't know that that's a not self thingy.
maybe.
I mean, maybe it is, but they literally will be less permeable to the environment. They literally like they're not going to be fighting for territory. They're not going to be murdering for territory or religion or God because they're just going to like know that it is. It's just going they are connected to it. So it's not going to be oh, let's war about these like mundane like paradigms of religious institutions. We just know it is us. We are, oh my God, that's what Rod said. He said, it is us. We are it. That was the thing he came out of his first like ketamine experience was it is it. It is, we are it. It is us. And so it's like he is so we get to touch into that and it is part of us. And we have, like you said, it's like we have this density on top. And I feel that like younger and younger generations have less and less density because that's just the way of evolution. And
Yep.
so like what is scary to an older vehicle is going to be less scary like the newer the vehicle basically because evolution is like that. It's preparing you, it's preparing us like. And so the what's like you said, what's like confrontational about truth is like the more dissonant you are, the more you're turning off the sound that says don't eat me, I'm too strong, like like so anyway. But I see the time and it's been so much fun connecting. And do you have any closing?
Yeah. There's one last thing. I'm like, we're really hitting on the telepathy tapes, but I love
I
it so
love it.
much. But
Hopefully we'll
um
have more combos.
there was so much about the rave stuff that really did initiate like it's not that one thing made me pivot. It's like I am pivoting because I'm not resisting the pivot and I'm seeing so many connections as I'm not resisting the pivot. But I had this belief about the raves that if they had transauric consciousness and they could, let's say they could read my mind, but I couldn't read theirs. My thought was, well, if they can read my mind, they can read my intentions. So if they can read intentions, then wouldn't, especially if they're getting grouped together in like group homes, like they would want people who have good intentions to be their care aides, and they would not want people who have bad intentions to come near them. So maybe they give a migraine to the person who has a bad intention as a way to like deactivate them from getting near them or something. But again, that still had too much like sci-fi fantasy story kind of built
Mhm.
into it. And I in no way want any of this to sound like I will compare raves to animals. What I want to talk about is a skill set that, like, if you're a little kid and you're going to go meet a dog for the first time, Your parents have to teach you how to interact with that dog. Like maybe you put your palm up this way. Maybe you don't run at it. Maybe you don't. And also, maybe we say, like, if you're kind, it will be nice back to you. Like, if you're mean to it, it might be mean back to you. Like, your animals
Don't
can read your.
direct, you go sideways, or you like don't stare at them. Yeah. And
And
yeah,
like, as it approaches you, is it tail wagging or is it
right. Yes.
like, so it's reading something
Yep.
in you and it's giving you a feedback. So I kind of figured that there are other things that are more sensory aware than me. And those
Yep.
sensory aware things might be able to read my intentions. And in the telepathy tapes, they talked about how belief was the only thing that accessed it. You can't connect with these people if you
Yeah.
don't believe
Yes.
that you can connect with them.
So yes. Uh-huh.
So the intention and the
Yep.
belief have to work together.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that through those, there is nothing negative to experience. So I have no fears about the future.
Yep.
My goal is just to get
That's
right with
also what you're
myself and
talking
be
about.
sensitive.
That's what you're talking about with body jumping. You believe it is possible, therefore it opens now, and you have a pure intention to transmit the illness, the pain, the stuckness, the dis-ease. So then it's like that's the magic recipe to like transformation,
I think in the last
transmitting.
2 months, my belief system has changed a lot, and it's done it through a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like reading anything; it's like I'm living this experience to go through it.
Sounds a little third line or something.
Very third line or something. And the beauty is, it feels so affirming as the projector and as the human design thing because my success is still building, and I'm working less than ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, gonna keep that going.
Yep. That's wonderful. Yes. I can feel it in you, Oracly,
I feel good. I feel calm. I feel regulated. I feel like loving.
in your body.
Yeah,
Innocence, a bridge.
totally.
Yeah.
This is a good chat, Cass. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks. I always like our chats. We have a lot of fun.
I'm all like, hmm.
Thank you so much, Sam, and hope to have more conversations when the time is right.
Thanks, Cass.
Bye.
See you later.
See ya. Have fun.